Hi everybody, how are you? Welcome back to June 2016's reading with me, Amanda Ellis, and the energy of Archangel Metatron and colour therapy. So, wonder how May was for you. I'm making this at the end of May, 27th. So it probably is covering the first period into June. I think I will record the 2nd June video, or certainly a July video, when I'm out in Canada, because I'm coming 3rd week of June to Canada. Really excited about that actually. And since moving location of one of the workshops to a more central Toronto-based place, we've got a wonderful group that's just formed within 2 days, so we're bang on track. And I'm really looking forward to both workshops. One is also up in Halliburton as well. Anyway, that's my June, it's not your June. What I'm going to do today is really just go with the flow. I tried to actually make this video yesterday. I tried to make it about 5 times, and there was nothing really wrong with what I was saying. It was more the fact that there was so much noise everywhere around me, and I found it quite hard to just settle. And today feels very different. I'm just back from doing a session with somebody and a healing with somebody, so it really just feels like the flow of Metatron's energy is with me, and I wanted to sort of share that. And what I'm feeling more than anything actually is just a real feeling of joy coming in and flowing through me, and I hope that comes across as well. So let's hope for a joyful June and a better month, because I know some of you found May's energy quite challenging. So let me just take this off. It's quite warm for once here, so enjoy that whilst we've got it. I have just been gifted a new deck of cards, and literally today I was given these, and they are the Grace cards by Cheryl Richardson. So I haven't fully connected into this pack at all. This is my first experiment with them, and I just, because they are so new and they've got a lovely feeling to them, I just wanted to use them in this video, this message. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask Archangel Metatron for 3 cards to start us off, and then we will see where we go from there. Okay, so June 2016. I'm deliberately not looking at them because you can maybe influence it a little bit if you see a colour you like or a word that catches your eye. So let's just see where I'm asked to stop. And the first one is this one, which is surprise. Second one, support. Oh, that's beautiful. 3, third one. Silence. I was just about to say, I bet it's a 3rd S. We've got surprise, support, and silence. Wow, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Dance. Okay, right. Let's put them up to the camera so you can see them and you can feel their energy. Okay, see those? Right, aren't they beautiful? They're really lovely, aren't they? So we've got surprise, support, and silence in that order. Right, I just like to tune into the energy of these 3. Okay, so the first card, surprise. Who doesn't like a surprise? What do I want to say about the energy of this? We can spoil a surprise, can't we, by expecting it a certain way, or at a certain time, or at a certain place, or with a certain person. And I'm feeling here that June's energy wants to bring in something quite unexpected, quite joyful. Look at that beautiful rainbow that we've got here. Something quite magical, actually. But I want to say that for that to happen, we have to be open to the possibility of a little bit of fairy dust and magic in our lives. It feels as though this surprise comes a little bit out of the blue. It feels as though it's something that's deserved. It feels as though it's something that is almost a reward for what I want to call perseverance, resilience, dedication to something or someone. I'm struck by the colours of the card, the dark indigo and the bright white light. So it feels to me as though the surprise coming in for many of you comes after a difficult, challenging time, or it might still be that you're going through a difficult, challenging time. But there is just this bright white light, stardust, moonlight, rainbow. Feels like a card of great blessings. And the message on the back says, keep an open mind. The influence of grace is often found in unexpected places. Do you know, I was talking about this today to somebody, and we were talking about a place in the UK where they had just visited, which is a renowned spiritual centre. And the overriding feeling having visited the place was one of disappointment, that it hadn't quite lived up to expectations, that it felt different from how they expected. And in fact, I will say where it is. I don't want to offend anybody who lives there or loves the place, but it was Glastonbury. And the reason I'm saying that, and I want to name it, is that the conclusion we reached was, if you think about Glastonbury as a place in the UK, I follow some of the work of Diana Cooper, not all of it, but some of it I do. And certainly she was one of the first people who started to talk about planetary chakras, and she named Glastonbury as one of the places the place in the world which was the heart chakra of the planet. Okay, so you go to the heart chakra of the planet and you feel disappointed. And I have to say, I shared this disappointment when I went. I didn't get the energy. I didn't feel it in the way I thought I was going to feel it. But if Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the planet, it will mirror to us what is actually going on with our own hearts and in the heart of humanity and wider consciousness. And we know that we're not quite yet there. We know that we're not always coming from a heart-centered place. We know that we're not always open to love. We know we're not always open to a surprise, you know? If you think about the opposite of surprise, it's control. And so many of us live our lives in a very controlled way. And that often comes from a place of the need for deep security, the need for the safety net to know what's going to happen next and the order in which things happen. And it sort of blocks the surprise. And I feel as though, going back to the Glastonbury story and what it says here on this card, the influence of grace is often found in unexpected places. The point of me saying about the Glastonbury thing is the fact that you can find that heart-centered connection in very many different places around the world. You don't have to go to a sacred site to find it. You can find it right now in your own home, in your own town, if you plant the right light around you, within you, and through you. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. But there is just this feeling of unexpectedness coming through with this card, and it feels really lovely, and it feels really earned, and it feels very beautiful. The next one is support. So let's think about the word support. The first thing I am being asked to say to you is that when I say the word support, what's the first word that comes into your mind? Just notice that, what the first word is that comes into your mind. What's your first reaction when you think about support? Do you feel that you have support in your life? Do you feel that you're a good support to other people? Do you need more support? And what does that support look like? I'm being told that some of you, the support networks that you have around you, need to be looked at. Some of the people in the network that you have, whether it's friends, acquaintances, people you work with. There is a bit of what Metatron is calling maintenance required. And what he means by that is the fact that some of the people around you that you turn to for support or who give you support, you're being asked to question the vibration of them. Okay, so if you believe that we are all trying to ascend in consciousness and raise our game, raise our vibration, get more and more on our spiritual path, then we need people around us to support us who are of the right vibration. And what often happens is that you evolve spiritually, but you can still sometimes keep the same people around you. And that's where we can run into problems. And I've heard a few instances of this recently, of people who have tried to hold others back because probably of fear on their part. They don't understand the path that they're on. And really, they're not offering the support that is really needed here. You know, that angel there holding this particular woman is, what do I want to say about that? Sorry, I just want to tune into the energy of this picture. If I put the energy of that picture up, can you see she's just completely surrendered into a place of rest, stopping, needing time for herself. And the angel is there just to support that process. I'm feeling that for some of you, you're in situations, particularly at work, where it's really hard for that to happen, to stop, to go at your own pace, to take the time that you need, the support that your own physical body needs, to actually come back to health and rejuvenation. And so I want to broaden this word support into a business scenario, actually, your working life, in terms of, are you also getting the resources and the support that you need day to day in what you do? And this can also be for people who work for themselves. It can be people who work for big organizations. It can be people who work as a mother or a father, somebody who works in the house. It's all about what this person has been able to do with this angel is just completely surrender into, I just need to stop. I just need to relax. I just need to be. And he's allowing that process. He has her completely safe. Have you got people who've really got your back, is what I want to say, who are there for you for the good times and the bad times? I've seen a bit of this myself this year. You know, I want people around me in my own life who are happy for me when I'm successful, and also who are there for me when I'm unhappy. You know, it's not just about the good times, and it's also not just about the bad times. There is an energy sometimes which we can attract, which is that people can come to us when we need help, and then it's almost as though they hang around and sort of get into that whole thing about almost wanting you to stay in a sort of slightly negative place or a disempowered place, because then they feel as though they're being of help and support to you, but maybe you don't need that anymore. It's a strange dynamic, that one. I think that will resonate with a few of you. Okay, so what the card says on the back is, expect help, a divine power more magnificent than anything else that exists on the planet is ready to support our every move. I would like to say to that, I believe that. I believe that when we are in alignment with our higher truth, and that's what you're being asked to do this June, to be in alignment with your higher truth, to go into your heart, to go into your body, to feel what feels right in terms of your next move. And once you make a clear decision, the universe comes in and supports that 100-fold. As it says here, a divine power more magnificent than anything else that exists on the planet is ready to support you now. The problem is it can't support you if you're a bit weak in terms of what you really want, or if you're a bit confused. The worst thing is to almost not make the decision. I know that's hard. I really know that's hard. But it's what we're asked to do this June, to be clear about our goals, to be clear about what we want, And then the universe is there to support us 100%, but it can't support us 100% if we are scattered in terms of what we think we want. I think I'd quite like to use a spray at this point before moving on to the silence energy. I'm going to go for the one that I've stuck in the centre of a Metatron's grid that's sitting beside me. It's the fuchsia. I'm also just seeing the drum behind me. My poor drum that hardly ever gets used. But can you see that beautiful fuchsia colour? This is the colour of the solar plexus. So when we're scattered and we can't decide what it is that we really want in life, it's because we're not fully present in our core, the core of our being, our I am presence, we call it. And so let's just fill ourselves up with this beautiful fuchsia light. And I'm going to spray it around myself. And I'd just like you to imagine that there is this fuchsia energy flowing down through you. And this is, it's like a shocking pink. It's a bright pink energy. It's not soft, it's dynamic, it's active, it's alive. And I'd like you just to bring that fuchsia energy through you, to feel it working with you. And it wants to sit right in the center of your being. Take it right into the solar plexus. And what we're building in the solar plexus is a pyramid, which is made up of this pink dynamic light. And in that pink dynamic light sits our I am presence, sits all the answers, sits the wisdom, sits the clarity, sits the connection to our higher self as well. And just feel that fuchsia energy flowing through this pyramid, which just wants to sit. I'm actually feeling it's wanting to sit on top of the stomach area, because it feels like a beacon that's just flashing out into the universe. And then it will just start to integrate into the body when it wants to. And for some of you, it's going right in straight away and just feeling really comfortable now in that core. And for others, it's actually at the front, just resting. Just do with it what you will. But this feels like quite an important colour to help us claim who we are and what we are, what we are and what we want. And then when we know that, we get the support that we need to see that plan through, to see that relationship through, to see that activity through, whatever it is. The support is there. The support is behind us this June. The third S that we've got surprise, we've got support, and we've then got silence. So let's look at this image. It's a different image here. It's actually quite a different depiction of an angel, isn't it? She looks a little oriental in appearance, which is quite refreshing to see a different aspect interpreted. And I'm feeling, I want to say, I'm being drawn to her eyes, but I'm also seeing my eyes in comparison. And I'm being reminded here of the trend in some Eastern countries, in Japan or wherever, of women trying to westernize their appearance, to make their eyes bigger, or I don't know, eyelids and all sorts of things that I want to say they're mucking around with. Because before we start talking about silence, Metatron is wanting to talk about our uniqueness and how amazing it is that we are all different, and that some of us have brown eyes, some of us have blue eyes, some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us are big, some of us are tiny. And to just embrace that, you know, to be able to get to a place where we are happy in our own skin, not wanting to be anybody else, not wanting to take on another person's culture, to own who we are wherever we are in the world and love that, and to sit with that, very much like this lady is. She's just sitting in her beauty and her individuality and the white energy radiating from her crown, her aura, just haloing that special energy that she holds. So I want to think about silence and what I want to say about silence. Let's first spend a moment in silence. And we're going to spend a moment in silence with the energy of air. So if I just have a quick cup of tea first. The British are very good at having cups of tea all the time. And I suppose in a way, it's perfect for what we're just about to do, because it's about stopping. Let's just stop, have a cup of tea. The world is all right again. So we're going to stop and have a moment of silence. And I'm shaking up the air element. I should have shown you what it looks like before I shook it up, because when you buy these, if you buy them from me, they come clear with the blue in the bottom, and then you shake them to activate them, and it becomes a really lovely energy. It's not quite coming across on the camera, but there's a real swirling energy within that. Let's connect into the energy of air and have a moment of silence. So all I'm going to say before we have that silence is I'd just like you to breathe. I'd like you to breathe into your body. Okay. I'm sorry to puncture the silence, but I just feel so tranquil around me. I'm wanting to look up into the sky and see the clouds that are up there, noticing the trees and the bird kingdom. Since connecting into the air elemental in particular, I am noticing the birds all the time. You know, the messengers that come. It's really, truly beautiful. Within the silence, the answers come. Within the silence, the healing comes. Within the silence, the love can flow. Within the silence, Metatron grows. He's asking you to stop and be silent, and to grow the connection with him in whichever way that feels right for you. It might be via an element like air, getting out, breathing in the fresh air. It might be being in the garden, down by the sea. It might be through a colour. It might be through sacred geometry. It might be through prayer. It might be through meditation. Doesn't matter. But it is about stopping and being. What's the message on the back of the card? Okay. It says, be still. A daily practice of silence bears gifts, a heightened sensitivity to beauty, deep inner peace, and a profound feeling of connectedness to all living things. Yeah, that's so right, isn't it? So we've got the 3 S's. I'm going to pull 3 more cards to go underneath them, and we will link them with one of the S's. Okay, so this is the card that links into the energy of support. I'm sorry, and I've got that one falling out, which is act. We'll ask for an energy of a card that links into silence. Oh, aren't they beautiful? Peace. And a card that links into the element of surprise. So let's see what we get. Keep shuffling, he's saying, keep shuffling. Surprise. Trust. Ah. Okay, so with the element of surprise, we've got the energy of trust. The more we follow our intuition, the more we'll find that the right doors open to assist us in fulfilling our life's purpose. Okay, let's think about trust. She's holding a shell. Can you see that? She's holding a shell. Now, I've no idea if that's the type of shell that a pearl comes out of. It doesn't really matter, but that's what I'm being told, you know, that it's that's the analogy. Think about how long a pearl sometimes takes to grow within the shell. It doesn't happen overnight. So this surprise that's coming in, I'm wanting to say it's something that's earned. It's something that is being cultivated for a while, been brewing for a while. It's going to be very different for everybody. It doesn't have to be the big grand, you know, gesture. It can be a very small, simple thing. It could be a moment of just complete revelation and clarity. It could be the gift of love. It could be a new job offer. It could be you realizing that actually you're okay. You know, it can be many, many things. But I'm linking it to this, what I want to call the shell. Okay, so it's precious. What's coming in feels precious. It feels as though there is a delicacy to June. Not just in the cards that I'm choosing to use here, which are very gentle and delicate in their nature. They feel very delicate. They feel very feminine, actually. Time for the feminine energy to come through maybe a little bit more strongly. For women to also come together and support each other a little bit better and a little bit more honestly and with integrity as well. I don't know where that came from, but I feel like I want to say that. The next card that goes with support. So if you have support, what do? You act. Okay, you can act upon it. And the message on the back of this card says, charge forward. When we combine action with unwavering faith, the power of grace will meet our needs. So when we trust and when we have support, we can act. What we don't do is act when we have no support, when we are under-resourced, when we don't trust that the outcome is going to be okay. So it feels as though, even though this message has come through for a few months, this whole sort of dynamic moving forward energy, going for it type energy, it feels as though there is more of a support around us personally to be able to actually make the changes we need to make this month, that it's okay to actually act now. Before I read the message on the card, I've just got another message coming through here from Metatron about this. He's also asking us, to think about how we act in our life, okay? Whether we are acting somebody else's perception of who we are, whether we are maintaining some form of role that we've performed for many years, so we just keep going with it, almost like a bit like a stage act. Don't mean that in a negative way either. We can be given roles, can't we, in families and work situations. You know, you're the shy one, you're the confident one, you're the happy one, you're the depressive one, you're whatever it is, and then it can become almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I almost want to say here, it's almost time to draw a line under that particular play, draw a line under that particular episode. And it's not just that there's an interval, it feels like there's a whole new play in town. There's a whole new chance for you to act on a bigger stage, to do life in a different way, to start a new story. You know, Metatron's energy is all about removing the story from the body, getting rid of old stories that no longer serve us and stepping into a new one. And so this is about acting in a different way. The figure's interesting. If you actually look at that figure close up, can you see that? It's actually a woman. I don't know if my camera's zooming in enough on it. It's a woman, but she's all sort of, she's got the energy of the air behind her. It's all this billowing energy behind her, which says to me that she's almost as though she's having to push through something. Can you see the wind is behind her? So it's as though she's in a bit of an eye of a storm a little bit, but she's still managing to act and move forward. And it says, charge forward. When we combine action with unwavering faith, the power of grace will meet our needs. So that's a lovely one. And then the card that goes with silence is this beautiful card, which is the card of peace. Just look at that for a moment and just connect into that. And just look at how at peace she feels with who she is, where she is, and being alive on this planet at this time. You can tell a lot by a person's face, can't you? And I think going forward in time, there's been a lot of emphasis on body language and noticing body language with people, which can be one really useful tool that we have in terms of whether people are operating in the right way towards us. But increasingly, look at somebody's face. The face really reveals their character. There's somebody in the news here in the UK. It's a female TV star, and she was pictured the other day in the papers. And admittedly, she's getting older, but her face had set in literally like her mouth was like, it was all downward, and her whole face had set in a frown, in a unhappy pose. And it is her natural resting face. And I looked at it and I thought, how sad, because there's such a story in that. I don't know what the story is, it's not my business to know, but you can see so much in a person's face. So it's as though Metatron is really asking us just to truly start to look at each other, and to, when we see an ally, somebody who's of our tribe, you'll see it through their eyes, you'll see it through their face, you'll see it as well as through their energy. It says, when we balance silence with activity, we discover true peace of mind, the source of all joy and happiness. Oh, I love that. I love the fact that it's come next to the ACT card. So we have the ACT card, which is saying, come on, be dynamic, go on, do it. And then we've got the peace card, which is saying, yeah, but you also need this time of silence. And it's like the scales, isn't it? The scales have to be balanced. So June is very much a month to address the balance in our life, to get it right, to move forward, but also have time to rest, but also move forward. I know I just said the same thing in a different way, but I wanted to sort of ram home the point. There are people that do too little and there are people that do too much, and we can learn from both. Okay, let's have one more just to go in the central card, final card for this reading, and I will look away because otherwise I'm being drawn to the colours again. Final message, Metatron, please, going into June for all of us. Strength. Ooh, look at that, look at her. She's strong. What do I want to say about strength? Okay. What he's saying to me is, you do not know how strong you are until you are sometimes tested. You do not know how strong you are until sometimes you are challenged. You do not know your own strength. I'm looking at you and I'm saying that you do not know your own strength. It feels a really positive card with all of this to just try to help us, push us forward, that you are so much stronger than you think you are. Look at the wisdom in that woman's eyes. Look at the way she's actually looking at you on this card. She sees who you really are, in the same way that Metatron sees who you really are. And if you're being encouraged to move on in any shape or form, or change in any shape or form, or try something new, because I think that's very much out there for a lot of us this month, you are going to realise that you are stronger than you realise you are. It says, face your fear. Every challenge is a blessing in disguise, a gift that makes us stronger, more conscious, and ultimately more alive. Oh God, isn't that true? That is so true. I've been feeling that myself recently, that sometimes when we just face the fear, we go for it, even if it's difficult, we feel alive. When was the last time you felt really alive? Think about that. Last time you felt really alive. That's what's on offer this June. to step into life in a more conscious, bigger way. But we have to do it. You know, we have to take that step ourselves with trust, knowing that we've got the support around us to be able to act, that it might take some energy, whatever area of life we're talking for you. So you need to balance that with the silence and the peace, but to also know that there is this pretty wondrous surprise. And I'm also now wanting to tie that into the strength card. Almost the surprise for some of you is going to be that you realise how strong you actually are. And actually all these latent talents, skills, qualities that you have, you're suddenly going to remember what they actually are. Okay. Because I am addicted to these cards, as you can probably tell, I'm just going to have one going into the second half of June. Okay. So what we've just talked about is really more the first part of June. Let's just see what's coming in the latter part of June. And then we get the gift. It says you don't have to work hard to earn it or feel worthy enough to deserve it, or surrender your needs to receive it. The gift of grace is our birthright, but I'm taking it further than that. I still feel I want to put these two together. There is a surprise gift coming your way. Are you going to have your hands out to accept it and take it into your heart and say thank you? Or are you going to say, oh no, it's okay, give it to somebody else, or I'm not quite worthy to receive that yet? I hope you have the open hands out to say thank you. And then we end with the energy of gratitude. Okay, everyone, lots of love. I shall speak to you from Canada next, and I wish you all well. Much love. Bye.